Hello there, Mr. Sutton here, bringing you the Algebra 2 Honors 12-3 Part 1 homework solutions on finding determinants. To find the determinant of this 2 by 2 matrix, we just need to multiply the diagonals together and take the difference. So we have to do the top down first. So we've got 3 times 4, and then we'll be doing minus 2 times 1. So that's going to be 12 minus 2, or 10. To find the determinant of this matrix, we have to do top down minus bottom up for multiplication. So we've got negative 1 times 6, and then going the other way, we've got minus 2 times 3. This is negative 6 minus 6, or negative 12. For this determinant, we have to do top down minus bottom up in terms of multiplying. So we've got negative 5 and negative 2 getting multiplied together, and then going the other way we're going to have a minus 7 times 9. This is 10 minus 63, so negative 53. To get the determinant of this matrix, we're going to do the cross products and then subtract them. So we're doing negative 4 times 8. We always do top down first. Then we're going to do 5 times 2 and subtract that. So this is negative 32 minus 10, or negative 42. To get the determinant of this matrix, we have to first rewrite the first 2 columns over here. So we got 1, 0, 6, 2, and 3, 8, just getting copied over there. Then we are going to multiply all the top-down diagonals together and add those. And then we'll do the same with the bottom-ups, and then we'll subtract those 2 sums. So going top down first, we have 1 times 2 times 9. That's going to be 18. And then we've got 0, 0, and 3. That's just going to be 0. And then finally 5 times 6 times 8. That's going to be 30 times 8, or 240. Now we're going to be subtracting the rest of these. So going bottom up, we've got 3 times 2 times 5. 6 times 5 is 30, so minus parentheses 30. And then we've got 8 times 0 times 1. The 0 in there zeroes out that whole product. And then 9 times 6 times 0, which also gets zeroed out, so that's convenient. Alright, so I probably don't need a calculator for this. We've got 258 out here, and then we're just subtracting 30, so that's going to be 228. To find the determinant of this 3 by 3 matrix, let's first rewrite the first 2 columns over here. And now we're going to multiply the downward diagonals together and add those. Do the same for the upward diagonals, and then we'll subtract those 2 sums. So first downward diagonal, we've got 9 times negative 6 times 8. And I'm actually going to go to the calculator for this. So 9, negative 6, and 8 gives us negative 432. Okay. Next up, we've got 1 times negative 2 times negative 3. That one I can do. That comes out to 6. And then we have 4, negative 1, and 7. That's going to multiply to negative 28. Now we're going to be going bottom up this way, multiplying still. And I'm going to subtract whatever all these ones add up to. So we have a negative 3, negative 6, and 4. I could probably do that one. So that's going to be 18 times 4, so 72. But we're subtracting that along with 2 other things in a big parentheses here. Next, we've got 7 times negative 2 times 9. Well, let's see here. That's 63 times negative 2, so negative 126. And then we've got 8 times negative 1 times 1. That's going to be negative 8. All right, let me add all this on the calculator. So let's see here. We've got negative 432 plus 6 minus 28, and then a parentheses with a bunch of stuff. 72 minus 126 minus 8 all comes out to negative 392. To find the area of this triangle, we're going to use the determinant matrix formula for this. That's going to be 1/2 times the determinant of basically all these points plugged in the first 2 columns and 1s in the last column. So x1, x2, y1, x2, y2, and all the rest. So for my matrix then, I'm going to be doing -3, -5 up here, and then 1 and 4, and then 3 and -2. And now I'm just going to go ahead and figure out the determinant of this. So let me rewrite the first two columns that I have in red here over here so I can do my little diagonal dance that I do for these determinants. So now I'm going to multiply the 3 downward diagonals, add up those products, do the same for the upward diagonals, and then we'll subtract those two sums that we came up with. So going down on this first one here, -3, 4, and 1, that's going to be -12, and I'll leave this plus or minus 1/2 out here. For the next one, we've got 5 times 1 times 3, so that's going to be 15. And then we have 1, 1, and -2 multiplies to -2. All right, now I'm going to be subtracting the upward diagonals. So we're doing 3 times 4 times 1. That's going to be 12, so minus parentheses 12 then. And then we've got -2, 1, and -3. That's coming out to +6. And finally, 1, 1, and 5, which gives us +5. All right, I might be able to do this without a calculator. So let's see here. Out here we've got -12 and 15 is 3, -2 is 1. I think I can remember that. Inside we've got, let's see, 18, another 5 gives us 23. So we've got 1 minus 23. That would be -22, and we have to take half of that. So that would be -11, but this plus or minus here is telling us we have to take the positive version of that, so +11 for that area. To find the area of this triangle, let's first write our matrix determinant triangle formula. So plus or minus 1/2 determinant of x1, y1, 1, x2, y2, 1, and x3, y3, 1. So we're basically plugging the 3 points in for these first two columns. So we're just going to do that now. So we've got 2 and 1 for x1 and y1, and it doesn't really matter which one it is as long as it's in there somewhere. And then I'll use 3 and -4 for x2 and y2, and -4, -5 for the last set. So I'm going to take the determinant of this one now. So let me rewrite these first two columns over here so I can do my diagonal dance. I'm going to be doing my downward multiplication, multiply those, and then add up those products. Then I'll do the same for the upward diagonals, and I'll subtract the two sums once I've got them. So we've got downward diagonal here. 2 times -4 times 1 is going to be -8. And I'll keep that plus or minus 1/2 out there. Then we've got 1 times -4, so that's -4. And then 1 times 3 times -5, -15. Now I'm going up and to the right. So I've got -4, -4, and 1. That's going to give me a 16. But I'm going to be subtracting that along with a bunch of other things that I'm adding together from this direction of multiplication. We also have -5, 1, and 2. That multiplies to -10. And finally, 1, 3, and 1 is going to give us 3. All right, let's see if I can do this without a calculator. Out here we've got -8, -4. That's going to be -12. Minus 15 is -27. In here we've got, let's see, 6 plus 3 is 9. So -27 minus 9 is -36. Half of that is -18, and we have to make it positive, so +18.